The motivations for Vietnam to invest in its naval capabilities are essentially the perception that Chinese naval activity in disputed regions in the South China Sea are increasing over the last couple of years. So Vietnamese motivations are guided by ensuring that they have a deterrent capability as far as the presence of Chinese warships or boats in this region are concerned. Vietnam lays claim to all of the Paracel and Spratly Islands, and this means that its claims overlap significantly with Chinese claims. And we saw earlier in this year, in May, that China positioned for the first time a deep water drilling platform off the Spratlys. And it, in fact, deployed 80 odd boats to support this deployment of the oil rig. It also supported the deployment of the oil rig for the first time with PLA naval vessels, whereas previously China has only deployed white hulls or coastal maritime surveillance vessels in disputed waters. It has begun deploying grey hulls. So it did deploy two of the largest amphibious landing ships within the PLA naval fleet to support its oil drilling platform of the Paracels. And we see that there is a consistent change in the Chinese presence in the South China Sea. And I believe that Vietnam is focused on enhancing its naval capabilities, essentially to deter this view of expansionist Chinese activities in the region. It is in the realm of procurement that we see the naval investments most clearly as far as the Vietnamese Navy is concerned. So in 2014, the Navy had a capital expenditure of about $700 million, which was practically double of the amount spent by the Army within the same period of time, and even outstripped the expenditure by the Air Force by about $100 million. As you can see from this graphic, Vietnam is procuring a number of naval platforms. Arguably, among the most important will be the Kilo-class submarines. The contract for these was signed in 2009, and all 6 are expected to be operational by 2016. Now, the Kilo-class is important because it gives Vietnam a significant deterrent capability against Chinese warships as well as Chinese submarines in the shallow waters of the South China Sea. Vietnam, apart from procuring newer equipment and platforms and investing in upgrading its naval bases, has deepened its defense relationships with important players in the region, and particularly with the United States and with India. As far as the United States is concerned, the US and Vietnam signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement in 2013, and this covered not only humanitarian aid and disaster relief operations and search and rescue operations, but also maritime law enforcement capabilities. So as far as Vietnam's defense relationships are concerned, they're the key for the Vietnamese army as far as training of personnel and learning new capabilities and how to operate new platforms is concerned. With the easing of the US military sales ban to Vietnam, it can be expected that the relationship between Vietnamese defense industry and the United States will steadily deepen over the course of the decade. As regards India, India has already forwarded a credit line of about $100 million for the purchase of offshore patrol vessels by the Vietnamese Navy. And this would be a significant enhancement of the Vietnamese Navy's patrolling capabilities. In addition, India is also committed to training up to 100 submariners from the Vietnamese Navy. This is extremely important because this ties up with the Vietnam Navy's procurement plans of the 6 Kilo-class submarines. India has been operating Kilo-class subs since the 1980s, and it is perfectly positioned to help train Vietnamese personnel to utilize this capability to the fullest.